A Columbus doctor accused of overprescribing patients has been formally charged with 25 murders. Good evening, I'm Ben Schwartz. Thank you for joining us. Dr. William Husel, formerly of Mount Carmel Health System, pleaded not guilty to 25 counts of murder, stemming from him ordering potentially fatal drug doses to almost 30 patients. Husel maintains that he was not trying to kill patients, but was trying to provide them with comfort care. More than a dozen wrongful death lawsuits have been filed against the doctor and the hospital has already settled multiple cases out of court, all worth over $100,000. His bond was set at $1 million. And the bad news continues for Mount Carmel. Officials say 13 people have been diagnosed with Legionnaire's disease at the recently opened Mount Carmel Hospital in Columbus. One of those patients died Sunday. State officials say the first patient diagnosed with Legionnaire's disease was admitted to the hospital on April 29th, the day after the hospital opened. Mount Carmel says the hospital is working with health officials to identify the source of the bacteria. A Pike County woman charged in connection with the brutal murders of 8 people appeared in court Tuesday. Frederica Wagner appeared in a Waverly courtroom for a pretrial. The 76-year-old pleaded not guilty to perjury and obstructing justice charges. She is accused of lying to the grand jury who were looking into the murders of the Roden family. More than 3 years ago, 7 members of the family were found shot to death at 4 locations. The fiancé of one of the family members was also killed. Wagner's son Billy is charged with the murders. 4 other members of the Wagner family also face criminal charges in connection to the Roden family murders. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, suicide rates in the United States have risen by more than 25% since 2000. We took a look at what this rise means for the state of Ohio. According to a recent study published by the Ohio Alliance for Innovation in Public Health, suicide rates in Ohio are on the rise, and Appalachian counties are some of the hardest hit. According to the study, Meigs County has the highest suicide rate in the state at more than 21 suicides per 100,000 residents annually. Jackson and Hocking counties follow with similar rates. Megan Darnell is the Zero Suicide Care Transition Coordinator at Hopewell Health Centers in Athens. She says the high rates in the area may be related to Appalachian culture.
And I think with the Appalachian culture also can be a barrier because there's still a lot of stigma and kind of an attitude of we'll take care of it ourselves.
Mental health experts like Tony Coder with the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation say in order for prevention efforts to overcome issues of stigma, they have to start at the local level.
What works in Athens County, what works in Meigs County, might not work in Cuyahoga County. So we've got to have culturally appropriate and culturally sensitive resources for everyone.
Coder and his team from the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation recently testified in front of the Ohio State House in an effort to increase funding for such programs. As of now, the Ohio 2020 through 2021 budget includes $675 million in funding for mental health services in schools, which Coder believes is a necessary first step in reducing suicide rates in the state. If you are ever experiencing a crisis and need someone to speak with, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24 hours a day at 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. One of the 2 women who say an Ohio University journalism professor sexually harassed them is speaking out. Days after, university investigators say there is enough evidence to support her allegations. Lindsay Boyle, who was Yusuf Kalyango's student in 2011, accused Kalyango of making unwanted sexual advances toward her while on a trip to Zambia. Kalyango denies the accusations, citing that Boyle originally denied the harassment. Boyle says she didn't speak up 7 years ago because she was afraid of losing the job given to her by Kalyango. Hocking College wants to make Pauley Field their permanent football home. President Betty Young introduced an idea to Nelsonville City Council to move home games from Boston Field to Pauley Field. Along with the idea, President Young offered to have the college pay to help revamp the facilities at Pauley Field. Young hopes the changes will bring more students to the college and the community.
The decision about Pauley Field comes about for one primary reason. Hocking College wants to be a great community partner with the city of Nelsonville. Pauley Field is a location that we want to partner with the community, maybe to provide some updates. The field could use a digital scoreboard, maybe upgrade the bleachers.
Moving forward, President Young and the college plan to come up with a proposal that outlines the plan to make a move for their football team while continuing an already healthy relationship with their community.
Good evening, I'm forecaster Blake Hudson, and it's a pretty damp day out there today. We had rain showers on and off for most of the day. Right now in Athens, we're looking at 78 degrees. The showers are going to continue on and off for the next couple hours, and because of the rain we had today, it's going to be a very humid evening out there tonight. We have southwest winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. And if we take a look around the region right now, we're looking at 78 in Athens, 74 down in Ripley, 77 in Ironton. All rain across the board for most of the region. And as we take a look at the next couple hours, we're going to take a look at precast. We have some rain pushing out of the area for the next couple hours. And as we take a look for tomorrow, this is what we're going to be looking at for the next couple hours. Excuse me, tonight is what we're going to be looking at. These storms are going to be popping up throughout the region. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch from the National Weather Service, effective immediately and until 11 p.m. tonight. So make sure you take some time to look at the weather, and as those possible warnings get issued, make sure you get ready to put in your safety plans into action. Ben?
Thank you, Blake. As many as 1,500 people are still without power tonight after 15 tornadoes touched down across Ohio's Miami Valley last week. That's down from 70,000 in the aftermath of the storms. In one neighborhood off Old Troy Pike in Dayton, dozens of people are still without power. Despite the hardship and heavy damage, many are grateful for any support.
Cross came by and dropped some stuff. The Church of Christ came by. Some of the churches have come by and talked.
Bringing food and waters, yeah, helping everybody out. It's just been fantastic.
Dayton Power and Light say they should have power fully restored to their customers by the end of the week. An Ohio lawmaker wants to prevent people from using fake urine to defeat drug tests with legislation banning its manufacture, sale, or possession. State Senator Teresa Gavarone, a Republican, introduced the bill banning synthetic urine Tuesday as the nation continues to struggle with an opioid crisis. Similar bans are already in place in at least 18 states. Gavarone said drug users are employing synthetic urine to avoid seeking treatment and are risking public safety. The Chillicothe police made its largest ever single heroin seizure after a traffic stop late Tuesday night. Police Chief Keith Washburn told the Chillicothe Gazette police seized 3.4 pounds of suspected heroin in a stopped vehicle. Police pegged the street value of the drugs at between $165,000 and $200,000. A Columbus woman faces up to 11 years in prison for trafficking cocaine. 22-year-old Kelsey Shannon was convicted for trafficking approximately 100 grams of cocaine, according to a news release from the Gallia County Prosecutor's Office. Shannon was convicted on felony charges for drug trafficking and tampering with evidence. She'll be sentenced in Gallia County Common Pleas Court in July. Deputies in West Virginia had a record-setting drug bust Monday night. In a news release, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office says one of their deputies found $6,000 in cash and a handgun in a car after pulling the driver over for speeding. Deputies then got a search warrant for the driver's home and found 15 pounds of marijuana, meth, and prescription pills. They also found over $80,000 in cash, along with more guns and several new vehicles. West Virginia University and Marshall University will host summits for the Opioid Awareness Initiative in West Virginia. The initiative is aimed at the state's youth and is part of a statewide collaboration. The first summit will be held in September at the WVU Coliseum. West Virginia regulators are conducting a 3-day safety blitz involving commercial drivers and their vehicles. The inspections will be held throughout the state and will focus on steering and suspension systems. 592 inspections took place at last year's Safety Blitz. The inspections will end on Thursday night. Discusses potential charges following the Mueller report and see how potential tariffs could hurt the auto industry. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
President Trump is not backing down from his threat to impose tariffs on Mexico. The deadline to reach an agreement is less than a week away, and some Republicans are unsure about the situation. John Lawrence reports.
Tariff talks continue in Washington, D.C.
We have 80% in favor of negotiation, 20% that maybe it's difficult to reach an agreement.
President Trump, in tweets from Great Britain, calling on Mexico to improve its immigration enforcement. Otherwise, a 5% tariff on all Mexican goods goes into effect Monday.
I think the best outcome of this is to have Mexico assist us in the manner of what's happening on the southern border.
Vice President Mike Pence taking part in discussions with Mexico's foreign minister Wednesday, but some in Washington, D.C. have concerns about this standoff, namely Republicans.
Well, there is not much support in my conference for tariffs, that's for sure.
And automakers say they're worried about the ripple effect.
This industry will not be able to survive in its current form with the increasing number of tariffs from Mexican goods. It just will not work, and this will directly and immediately affect the American consumer.
Others believe President Trump's line in the sand with Mexico is appropriate and necessary.
People have endured much worse than expensive avocados or a few more dollars here and there, to protect the country. And I think that this is valid.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
President Trump says the tariffs on Mexico would rise monthly until they reach 25%, while other prominent Republicans have spoken against the tariffs. One of those Republicans is Texas Senator and former presidential candidate Ted Cruz. Cruz, like other GOP members, understands why President Trump is considering a tariff as an option, but does not believe it is the right course of action to take.
I understand that the president is frustrated with congressional Democrats refusing to do their job or to do anything to fix this crisis. That being said, this is the wrong solution to the crisis.
Other top lawmakers are focusing on other major issues surrounding the president. Following the release of the Mueller report, almost 60 House Democrats have made public comments requesting the start of the impeachment process against President Donald Trump. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi stressed that she needed more time before making a decision about pursuing impeachment.
No, I'm not feeling any pressure. And let me just address that. I see in some metropolitan journals and on some TV that we are trying to find our way or unsure. But make no mistake. We know exactly what path we're on. We know exactly what actions we need to take. And while that may take more time than some people want it to take, I respect their impatience. It's a beautiful thing, and it's important. Pelosi's approach appears to be methodical as she tries not to rush anything.
A school resource officer slammed for his response to the Parkland school shooting is facing felony charges. Scott Peterson had a bond hearing Wednesday. He was booked into Broward County Jail and a judge upheld his $102,000 bail. The former sheriff's deputy has been charged with 11 counts, including child neglect, negligence, and perjury. Peterson's attorney argues that the charges are politically motivated. He also said Peterson can't be charged with neglect during the shooting because he was acting as law enforcement and not as a caretaker. Could how we view healthy white and dark meat have been wrong all along? That story's still ahead.
And we're going to have some more rain coming into overnight, possible thunder as well, and that rain does move out by tomorrow, and I'll let you know when we're going to have some more sunshine when News on Watch returns. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Concerns continue to grow in the Midwest for additional flooding. After historic flooding in the Midwest, locals and officials are preparing for another onslaught of rain once again. Between rising rivers in Missouri and high water in Illinois, many are worried about the weeks to come. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker explains how the state plans to fight the floods.
It is a big effort here to fight this flood, to make sure that we keep the people safe who live in this area. This is a flood fight that's not going to be over anytime soon.
As the flooding is set to get worse in the Midwest, a possible tropical depression could be forming in the Gulf of Mexico, forcing residents in Texas to prepare for even more heavy rain.
We've been having a lot of rain around here lately too, and that's not going to change over the next couple hours. Right now in Athens, we're looking at 78 degrees. Those showers will continue on and off tonight as we go into the overnight hours. You might even have possible thunderstorm or two here in a little bit. I'll talk about more of that in just a few minutes. We have southwest winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. I would take a look around the region, looking at 77 down in Ironton, 76 in Cambridge, all across the board in the 70s, in mostly rainy skies around the area. So make sure you grab an umbrella as you're heading out the door. Taking a look at precipcast. We have these storms that are being pushing off the area to our south. That's what the rain we had today. I would take a look for tonight in precipcast. These little pop-up storms around the area is what we're going to be looking at going into the next several hours. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch from the National Weather Service, and that goes into effect until 11 p.m. tonight. So make sure you watch these storms coming up. If you see a severe thunderstorm warning for your area pop up, make sure you take shelter and get inside if you can. By tomorrow morning, those all clears up. We might have a little bit of rain showers moving into the area, mainly for our southern counties. So make sure you grab an umbrella, especially along those southern counties tomorrow morning as heading out to work. But for the most part, generally the whole area should be a fairly dry day tomorrow. We take a look. Tonight in Athens, looking at a low of 65 degrees. Those thunderstorms are going to be happening around 8 p.m. here in Athens, and the strong winds are going to be our main concern for these storms. So strong winds of possibly damaging small trees and possible hail as well, so make sure you cover sensitive vegetation so don't get damaged from falling hail. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Taking a look hour by hour tonight in Athens, 73 by 8 p.m. Those chances of thunderstorms do occur, and they persist up until around midnight, 67 degrees for temperature, and 66 by tomorrow morning, waking up, getting ready to go to work. Like I said, those rain showers are going to be moving out. We might have a few possible showers here and there, but again, mostly it's going to be fairly dry. Overnight lows in Athens, 65 degrees, 66 in Ripley, and 66 as well in Ironton. Across the board, pretty much in the mid to lower 60s. Thunderstorms, like I said, around the area, so fairly stormy night for the rest of the area tonight as well. Taking a look for your daily planning tomorrow, 8 a.m., getting ready to go to work. The rain showers do begin to move out. By noon, pop-up showers are possible throughout the day. Fairly dry, however. 74 for your lunchtime temperature, and mild eating by 78 degrees for your 4 p.m. Tomorrow in Athens, looking at 80 degrees, mostly dry day. Pop-up rain showers still going to happening. As we take a look at the next 7 days, sunshine does finally return by your Friday. Clear skies on your Saturday, very nice beginning to your weekend. And Sunday, unfortunately, those rain showers do return. And we have some possibilities of more thunderstorms on Monday, but finally warming back up to the 80s by the end of next week, and more sunshine finally going to be returning back into the forecast. Ben?
Thank you, Blake. For the longest time, white meat was seen as the healthier alternative to red meat and darker poultry meats. But according to a new study, that's not necessarily true. In today's Health Minute, James Dinan explains why you may be able to tuck into a burger with less guilt.
When it comes to maintaining or lowering your cholesterol, is white meat better for you than red meat? According to a new study, the answer is no. The study, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, says both types of meat have the same effects on your cholesterol levels. This flies in the face of popular thought, where government guidelines and media campaigns touted white meat, like poultry, as superior for heart health. The study did not include grass-fed beef, processed meat products, or fish. Researchers also found that saturated fats in meats increase large LDL particles compared to those who did not consume meat. The bottom line, plant-based proteins are the best for those worried about their cholesterol. For today's Health Minute, I'm James Dinan.
Look at local events happening this evening. And in sports, a local team's path to another state championship has a new challenge. Next on Newswatch.
Is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
There's a lot happening in Athens over the coming days. One of the big events is starting in just a few minutes. The Under the Elms concert series begins tonight at 7 o'clock on Ohio University's College Green. Tonight's concert is titled Favorites and will highlight popular local artists. The concert will highlight 3 separate anniversaries: the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment passing, the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, and the 50th anniversary of the Beatles' album Abbey Road being released. All of these will be honored by local music groups. And in honor of Pride Week beginning this week, Cheers and Queers will start this week. The event, hosted by Athens Uncorked and sponsored by the Ohio Rainbow Alliance, runs until 8 tonight and has an inclusive happy hour. Organizers hope that the event allows for everyone to celebrate their identities in an inclusive environment. Multiple events will happen over the next week to celebrate Pride Week around Athens. About an hour away, another event is happening. The National Veterans Memorial and Museum in Columbus is ramping up to mark the 75th anniversary of D-Day. The museum is hosting a special Veterans Voices event Thursday that will feature a first-hand account by retired U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Don Jakeway. His story is also featured at the museum. The museum opened in October. It's free for veterans and active duty military personnel. Just 6 months after the Trimble Tomcats played in Canton for a state title, a return trip is now much harder. Due to an increase in enrollment, Trimble will now be classified as a Division VI football program. Divisional assignments are based upon male enrollment, and Trimble is over the male enrollment threshold by a single student, meaning Trimble is one of the smallest schools in their new division. However, there is still hope for Trimble. Marion Local and Kirtland, who have played for the last 3 Division VI titles, both also changed division, potentially clearing a path for the Tomcats. A couple in Pontotoc, Mississippi, recently celebrated being empty nesters with this hilarious photo shoot. Amy and Randy English's last child, Haley Jones, moved out of their house last weekend, and it's obvious they weren't upset at all. Jones was the photographer here, but she says it was her mom that came up with the unique idea. Jones told Yahoo Lifestyle that she's moving to Oxford, Mississippi to become a nanny, but her side job is still photography. She's hoping the recognition this photo shoot is getting will help boost her business. And now let's head back to Blake for a final look at weather.
As I said earlier, we are in a severe thunderstorm watch from the National Weather Service, so it's very important that you keep your phone handy on you. Make sure you pay attention to any type of weather alerts that you might get pushed to your cell phone. If you do come across a severe thunderstorm warning, make sure you get inside, take shelter in an interior room. We could have some strong winds coming in the next couple hours. Tonight in Athens, reaching a low of 65 degrees. Storms happening around 8 p.m. here in Athens. Strong winds possible. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. We take a look tomorrow in Athens, 80 degrees. Passing showers throughout the day tomorrow. Mostly dry though. I would take a look next 7 days. Sunshine does finally return on Friday, and again on your Saturday is going to be a very nice Saturday. And on Monday, storms do come into the area again, but it's going to be sunny again by Tuesday of next week, Ben. Should be a pretty nice week.
That's great to hear, Blake. Thank you. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching.